The growing unity of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, with newer entrants like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the UAE, Iran, and Ethiopia, has indeed triggered intense debates in Washington and other Western capitals. When Donald Trump advisor described BRICS countries as vampires sucking blood, it reflected deep anxiety about the bloc's challenge to the decades-long Western-dominated global order. This strong language shows how seriously U.S. political and economic elites are beginning to view the rise of alternative power centers. The BRICS bloc was originally conceived in the mid-2000s as a grouping of rising economies that could reshape global economic governance. What began as an informal investment term coined by a Goldman Sachs economist evolved into a political and economic platform that now positions itself as a voice of the global South. The West initially dismissed BRICS as symbolic without substantive policy coordination, but the group is steadily institutionalizing, creating the New Development Bank (NDB) as an alternative to the Western-dominated IMF and World Bank, discussing de-dollarization and greater use of local currencies in trade, lobbying for reformed global governance, particularly in the UN Security Council, IMF quotas, and WTO structures, expanding membership with some of the world's largest energy exporters and biggest developing economies joining. This growing influence makes BRICS less dismissible. For the U.S., the nightmare scenario is a multipolar economic system that weakens Washington's leverage gained from control over dollar finance, sanctions, and global institutions. The vampire-sucking blood remark from Trump's advisor should not simply be seen as personal hyperbole. Instead, it reflects a deeper fear among conservative U.S. circles rooted in three anxieties: erosion of dollar hegemony. The U.S. dollar has been the reserve currency of the world for decades, granting Washington extraordinary privilege, including financing budget deficits at low interest rates and the ability to weaponize the dollar system through sanctions. BRICS efforts at local currency trade bypass this, threatening America's financial dominance. Energy and resource realignments. New BRICS members like Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE are heavyweight oil and gas exporters. A bloc that integrates energy trade with non-dollar settlement could transform global markets. Washington sees this as dangerous to its petrodollar system. Geopolitical independence of the global South. For decades, the U.S. has positioned itself as the security guarantor and economic partner of choice. But countries in Africa, Latin America, and Asia increasingly view BRICS as a legitimate alternative. This loosens U.S. influence, especially after years of unpopular wars, financial crises, and unilateral sanctions. These three factors combine into a perception that BRICS are bloodsuckers, not because they exploit America, but because they erode the structural advantages that Washington has considered its lifeblood since World War II. America's difficulty lies not just in BRICS itself, but in the broader multipolar shift. After the Cold War, U.S. unipolarity dominated, with weak challenges from Russia and an immature China. But now, China is the world's second-largest economy and a tech rival. India is the fastest-growing large economy and deepening its geopolitical balancing between East and West. Russia has mobilized alliances despite Western sanctions. Middle East states no longer automatically align with Washington as they diversify partners. African nations increasingly seek infrastructure finance from China or BRICS institutions rather than the IMF. The idea of multiple centers of power is threatening because American policy has functioned on maintaining dominance through military, economic, and technological superiority. A truly multipolar order, backed institutionally by BRICS, is perceived as draining America's long-standing privileges. This tells us Washington elites aren't just debating policy, they are emotionally framing BRICS as unnatural predators, which can mobilize public support for confrontational measures. Such framing also primes American citizens to see BRICS as enemies rather than normal partners in a multipolar global economy. India deserves special mention because it plays the role of both a BRICS founder and a key U.S. partner. Washington hopes India will prevent BRICS from becoming China-dominated. However, India uses BRICS to push for global South leadership on energy, food security, and technology, signal independence from Western dominance, leverage stronger negotiating positions with the U.S. by showing alternatives. This makes India one of the most important swing players in whether BRICS is truly anti-Western or broadly developmental. Thank you for watching. If you found the video insightful, hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.